Hello, America.
Hello, Raymond School District number 14. This is our Board of Education special meeting on this January 5th, 2026. Our mission, empowering all students by nurturing a culture of academic excellence, igniting curiosity, and cultivating perseverance within a supportive community. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. This meeting is now called to order. It is 5:31. Please rise and say the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mike, will you take roll call?
Certainly will. Ed Robinson.
Here.
Jennifer Gonzalez.
Here.
Mike Powers.
Here.
Audrey Kostick.
Here.
Keith Cassinson.
Here.
All right, also present, we got Heather from Racine County I.
And you.
And myself, I'm here.
Verification of public notice pursuant to 19.841 Wisconsin statutes.
Everything was published the way it should be. Schoolhouse stores, Village Hall, eVirgin, online, media were notified and are present.
Okay, thank you. We move to approve the agenda of this meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. I also want to make a note that we may not go into closed session prior to approval of the firm for the feasibility study. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Public portion of the meeting.
I think we just invited, if anyone had input that wanted anything from the community about our feasibility study, question or comment, you were
I have
at
a
the
question.
presentation?
I was, but it has nothing to do with that. We are starting a new feature on Racine County I about incredible teachers and students. So we need to, so if there's teachers who are doing outstanding work, or if you know of a student who's doing really good, as a good member of the community that's beyond just good grades or whatever, and they can be any age, not just the middle school kids or maybe older elementary, but any kids, please let me know, because we want to start really talking up the good things that our educators and our kids are doing throughout the county.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Heather. Sounds like a great idea. So, that ends the public portion of our meeting. We move to district business. And first up is discussion and the selection of a feasibility firm.
So, you guys had heard, the board had heard on December 15th, which was a posted public meeting, the 3 interviews for firms that were, that proposed things through the RFP process, which we opened up in November. We opened it up late October, you decided to go to RFP. November, just reminded the board of timeline. 21st of November it was due. We gave tours, had meetings, had all these firms come in with interest. 3 firms came back as interested. The 3 firms, all 3 that said they were interested, were interviewed in a public forum with a chance for people to discuss or ask questions, very casual. I think all 3 firms did an excellent job, very thorough. They gave us books and packets. We would easily, gladly make those available to anyone who would ask. They are, pretty robust, so kind of hard to print out, from our standpoint, but if someone wanted them, we certainly would, provide them with them. The 3 firms were Bray Architect, and then PRA, Plunkett Racich, I think, PRA.
Yeah, Plunkett Racich Architects.
Architects, yep. And the third is Nexus Solutions. And so all 3 presented. They had equal time, chance to share what their approach is. What we were looking for is, we're not selecting anything to do with construction or anything like that. We're looking for who can give us, for a reasonable cost, an analysis of our facilities and our current situation here in the building, because we have aging infrastructure and deferred maintenance projects from quite a while back. What's the path forward? What has to be done? Obviously, how we pay for it is critical, because we don't have a budget that really can afford these level of capital improvements. However, if we're gonna move forward with a referendum and the board make that decision after the feasibility study is conducted, the board, I want you to have all the information you need. So I do know one thing, that there's a lot of pride in this community about Raymond School. We've had struggles, absolutely, but I think what's come through is people love having our community school here. I think we need to be honest with our public about what it's gonna take to keep us healthy, viable, and thriving moving forward. And it starts with a facility and carries through even our operations, you know, and our budget. So while we've done some things to right the ship and fix some things and budget and economize, there's still challenges from a state level for funding. So if we're gonna go and ask the public for referendum dollars, whether it's operational or facilities, we just wanna make sure we're asking the right amount and we're really upfront with what our needs are. And I also know that us doing this every 3 years is exhausting for not only us as a staff, but the board and the community too. Who wants to be asked questions of money every single, it seems like everywhere you turn now, it's referendum for various things. So in all seriousness, we need to get this right in terms of the question. I think, Ed, you made a comment, you know, if we're gonna do this, we've gotta do it right. And I feel like you're not alone. A lot of people have said to me, it's not that they're unwilling, it's just that they wanna know exactly what you need, what you're gonna use it for, and how much, and the impact, and how long it will help us thrive. And it can't be short-term. So, I mean, you know, 1, 2, 3 years. So here we sit. So the first step tonight is the board selecting a feasibility firm based on opinions. So this is an open discussion, and then the board can either decide if they wanna dig in more and go into closed session and really dive into packets if they need to. That's why we posted for closed session. Or the board can say, I've heard enough, I know what I want, and they can make a vote. So that's just laying the groundwork for you as to how it sits tonight.
Well, I have 2 comments. One, watching our budget and our dollars, and the proposals from each of the 3 that we received, the one that stood out to me was Nexus, and how they would charge us for their feasibility study. The others were, and that would, meaning on the back end of anything that we decided, where PRA and Bray were rather stiff, and whether we chose to do anything or not, we still paid that money. So I like the idea of managing our dollars better. And the other part of that is that Yorkville has used Nexus, and Jeff has worked with them and is very comfortable with the way they operate. And I'd like to think that taking his advice is a good thing for the district.
I'd like to make a couple of comments too, after reading through the proposals, after seeing and going through the presentations. I believe that Nexus as well, I think they provide the lowest upfront cost and the least financial risk upfront. I think the project itself, the size that we're looking at, is more of a fit for them, because they are more of a smaller company that watches all the dollars, where the other ones are using other construction firms and project managers and architects and so on and so forth. I think their project in itself, control, guarantees, they guarantee some cost controls in how they operate a project if it's approved. And I think they're more detail oriented. And the fact that they are gonna hang with us and do they're the ones on the hook until the referendum is passed. The rest of them, they can walk away, they'll feel whole, it won't hurt them. But these guys are on the hook to get the referendum passed for the dollars that they're asking for. To me, it's pretty straightforward.
I do agree with you on that part, but the one thing I do worry about, and I want Nexus to know, is if, let's say, this feasibility act, and they get this proposal, and we try to do it, we're not gonna be able to go year after year after year to keep pounding after our constituents to be able to get it to pass. Because if we do that, you're just gonna drive the constituents nuts. And we've already had problems like that in the past, where we keep asking, and they just shut us off. So I want Nexus to know that, hey, we can't just go to referendum any year until you can get your money back, because that's something that we really have to watch out for with our constituents. You know, that's what I'm afraid of. I mean, I really like Nexus. I believe they are the choice to go to. But we've got to have an understanding that we just can't go to referendum. If we fail now, then we go back to referendum in 6 months or a year or
It's too
whatever.
expensive anyway to
Yeah.
Well,
You run that risk with all of them.
yeah, but I also think that communication is the main factor, that we have, not this past referendum failing, but, with the Bray
Yeah.
in 2021, I think it was.
Something like that. It was like a year or
Um,
two before. Yeah.
The communication was poor, and that's what I think turned off a lot of the voters. And I think that communicating that this is worth supporting.
Oh, definitely.
And
This
they
is-
went away again after that, right?
Yep. And
I agree with what Mike said, though. I just wanna make sure, because it's 4750, right? That's correct.
Yes.
Yes,
They won't receive any other money unless it passes,
yes, correct,
but up to 3 years,
yes,
right?
from what I understand.
I agree completely, because I honestly, my opinion, others can think otherwise, I don't think a referendum's ever passing this year. Not even a prayer. Not with the way the taxes went up with Union Grove High School.
Sure.
I think it needs to wait a little bit. I'd say do it, but it needs to wait a little bit to get people on board with it, is what I think.
I just can't trust
We,
something
we've
like
got a
that.
calendar that it would be 11 months from now, you know, so the vote is November. So I think it's tough, because like I said earlier, prefacing all this, the world we're in has a lot of hands out right now, and a lot of taxes, I mean, my taxes where I live went up too. It's a hard thing to sell in January of the
Yeah.
year, when people just are fresh off their taxes.
I believe Nexus is like people to select, but I just wanna
Sure.
make sure that they'll, if it's a year from now, that they're
Sure.
still on board, you know what I'm saying?
From what I've heard, they are. They will follow our lead. I don't think their model isn't, at least I don't think it's jam it down their throat until they're so tired of it. The thought is propose, if it fails in November, then we've got to retool, and then what does it look like in the future? I don't think it's an immediate April turnaround to ask again. I think that, well, first of all, I think because we would potentially ask 1 or 2 questions, there are limits on the number of questions you can ask in a calendar year anyway. So we have to be strategic in how that comes out. And if it's a 3-year, if they're saying, oh, we'll follow you for about 3 years, then they're saying, we'll give this 3 kicks for you. 3
That's a lot of
efforts.
time, it really is.
That's a lot
That's
of
a lot
time.
of time for
You know,
$5,000.
Yeah.
Right. They're that, but also I believe that with the right, I have to believe with the right communications and strategy, people do support what we're doing here. I agree, it's challenging in the economy we're in and the tax world we're in, but
Who was the one that did Union Grove's, the last one, was that PRA or was that Ray that did that, the high school?
I don't know.
Because that's another thing with how bad that botch,
You mean who constructed it?
yeah, who's the one?
Did
that
the
Not constructed,
proposal.
the feasibility was somebody else.
Because
Oh, I don't know who did the
With
proposal, I know who did
the
the
land
work.
over there and where the land was and the whole confusion and now everything's up in the air, that should feasibility act that it should have been.
So should
taken
the
care of.
board.
Yeah,
They
the
should
board
know
should
what
have.
was there
Yeah.
and what wasn't.
The good news is, we are
Yeah.
not looking to move a school here, we're not looking to take over anything, I mean, it's not ours.
Right.
Right.
We're not looking to move and take 5 Mile over from the village and have none of that stuff from 2022 to now. I think what we were, and we don't even know what we're asking for yet. That's the purpose of the feasibility
Well,
study.
that's right.
To help us determine what's the best, most reasonable route. And I believe with the right information and communication, it'll be,
I think we know that the facility needs a little upgrade, needs some things taken care of. And we have to know what that is.
and that's what this is for. I mean,
That's what this is all about.
Like, what's the most important, right? What to
Right.
tackle,
And then we get to
ABC.
pick and choose what we want and what we don't want, obviously. And we would do that, I hope, with any of them, but these guys, we asked them that, and they were upfront, said, yeah, we're gonna tell you what we think, but you guys are the final.
but timing and
Outsiders.
communication is critical. And I agree with you, Keith. It's gonna be a hard, we all know it's gonna be a hard sell.
I do think November, though, I think that's a good timeframe. I don't think that's too short of a wait,
Right.
in my opinion. So when would we introduce it? When would we let the public know if it's gonna be in
Afterwards,
November?
Well, timeline would be March, mid-March, late March, they would present the feasibility study
To us?
to the board.
Right.
The board would then say, okay, good information, here's what we're looking at, here's how it translates to how you can pay for it. And if a referendum question has to be developed, we develop it in April for approval in May. And then just like roll it out, June, July, August, September. But the steps along the way are telling to the people we'll hear about, through media, through us, that we're being transparent about the whole thing. These are our needs, this is what we're asking for, here's how much the impact is. And it'll start as early as April, May. You'll know what those,
No matter which company we would go with.
It would be the
It'll
same
be a hard
timeline.
sell, but I do believe that the facility, if it's not taken care of, it's only gonna be a money pit as we go forward, and I don't think anyone in the community can downplay that.
obviously the
I don't want my
further,
taxes to go up, but.
the further we
still.
get away from this time,
Right.
the less accurate numbers are. Because we know that, snap your fingers,
Right.
materials costs go up, they don't go down. So
That's true.
these numbers will be numbers that are real time now. And,
Yep.
in a good economy,
As long as COVID
Yeah.
doesn't come around
So-
again.
If you can.
in a good economy, when you have bond issuance, sometimes you're able to invest those dollars in the bond market and make a little extra interest off your investment, which has happened in a lot of districts where they've taken this bond money and they've been able to do an extra, like Yorkville, I think, had an extra $750 million, something like that, in
Close to a million.
extra dollars to do more projects because they invested it well while they had it.
How they controlled costs. They
Correct,
saved $1 million
correct.
and were able to do some other things that
Sure.
were good for the school.
So there are,
So that being said,
yeah,
I think with all the discussion, I think I would like to move that we propose.
that's what Jenny wants to say.
I just liked that the Kyle Robers, or whatever it was, he lives pretty close by too, and he said he would be available to us all the time. He was one of the presenters. I don't know, their whole plan, even though they didn't have all those little props and they didn't have a special presentation, or they just seemed more real,
Even our conversation last year at convention with that gentleman from Nexus, and he just, all of a sudden, we're at lunch, and we ended up sitting next to this guy, and he just started bringing things up, and he lived
Yeah.
in Kenosha, I believe it was,
I think it was in the scene.
or maybe Racine, but he's like, yeah, I know Raymond, I know you guys need things, and, he was really nice and honest with us, and kind of started explaining the situation of how Nexus was even a year ago, and now actually getting that presentation is like that reaffirming good thing, that they're moving forward and doing the right things.
I just have one more thing. Is there like a contract that we signed?
There's an agreement that we signed, that Jeff and I would sign.
Do we get to see it before it gets
We
signed?
certainly, yeah.
I just want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, 100%. I can Absolutely.
business, they're a
I can-
business,
yeah.
right? Yes.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there's no, I think that's a very reasonable thing. And before I would sign anything, I certainly can forward to the board.
I'm sure it's a contract that's gotta be signed, we can
Sure.
just review that and
Yep.
a few bullet points here and there. And
My guess is it's gonna look an awful lot like,
Yeah.
you know, the talking points that are in here, but absolutely, I don't know what level of depth they go into.
I just want like what we talked about, to make sure they stay with us for 3 years, and that the
Right.
cost is that until it passes. That
We did budget for this amount, in fact, double this amount. 10,000 was what we budgeted for in this year, because Jeff knew this would be coming down the pike potentially, so it's not like we're taking this money from anything else. And this is coming in about half the cost of that, which is good. So, again, his confidence
Did you
index
get a
is
copy
pretty
of this?
strong, so.
this is what they propose, this is what the outcome of the study will be. This is what the $4,750 gets us.
I know, they do a lot of stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
So, I mean,
it's
I just,
comprehensive, it really is.
after reviewing all of this, I mean, they're pretty clear, but as far as a contract and what
Yeah,
we're gonna
I
get,
can
this is
certainly
one
share
thing.
them with 100%, I can give them to the board as soon as I get it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion then.
So there,
I'll second it.
so there's no need for us to go to closed session for this, because we're, okay.
So your motion is to choose
To choose
Nexus?
Nexus for the feasibility
Okay.
study.
Second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve Nexus as the firm for the feasibility study. Any other discussion?
I just, yeah.
Did we do that?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
Hold on, so who motioned that?
Keith.
Keith and Ed.
Okay, okay, thank you.
He says George Roberts got a little too much.
All right,
All right, we move to the next item on the agenda. And this is the final step in the evaluation process for the superintendent. And the board may convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Do I need to read the rest of that?
nope, that's, well, you're doing it pursuant C. That's it.
The board will conclude the closed session, return back to the cafeteria for regular session as there may be actions taken based on the discussion from the closed session regarding,
That's it.
that's not it. We're
Regarding
not
B.
doing that. So,
Motion moved to close.
Second.
We need a roll call.
right. So the motion and a second to go to closed. Mike, will you do roll call?
Yep, Audrey Kesting,
Yes.
Ed Robinson,
Yes.
Jen Gonzalez,
Yep.
Mike Powers,
Yes.
Keith Castenson.
Yes.
All right, we're
We're
going to
now in closed.
closed session.
We're coming back in here then.
Yeah.
Did Jersted
Just leave the very end.
renovation?
Just
Bray did the total rebuild of Schulte, and Nexus is working on it. Rebuild, yeah. I looked up the story. I left my, like, scribbled on the agenda that night, not in my notebook, which, you know, not smart, because now I don't know where that piece of paper is.
But hey, you know,
But I found the story, so.
He knows.
All right.
So are we, so this took the place of the workshop?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I didn't know if you were guys, I didn't know if you guys were gonna meet again, like to, you know, like do a workshop and a regular meeting, for lack of a better word.
We were planning to do something financial, but Jeff, Easy likes to float in the ocean, so we're not in the,
I mean, do you blame
Is he
him?
floating again?
he's floating again?
I'd rather be on my snowboard.
Where's he at?
out north.
we have people that were on vacation that can't come back because the airport.